on Redeemer Television, Channel 25, and on Redeemer Media Network Facebook page and other social media handles. This is how I want to welcome you to yet another moment of your favorite program, Mentorship Hour. Today marks the 3rd of November 2024. And of course, Mentorship Hour is a program that unearths the true identity of who personalities are, the secrets that took them to where they are now. You know, it's a program that brings you the opportunity for personalities to teach you, to counsel you, to motivate you, to inspire you, you know, in choosing a path that you have opted to choose, and choosing a path that you are already treading on. A program that gives you the opportunity to make a better choice of that field where you imagine yourself to be. I am Honest Abdullahi, your humble host for this evening's program. And today is exceptional. Trust me when I say it's exceptional, because in the studio here with me this evening, our star mentor for today is coming from a medical profession. I know we have been bringing you, varieties of professionals here, varieties of mentors here from different professions. We've brought you one, from the law profession, from the accountant profession, from the teaching profession, from the, spiritual profession. Today, we are having in our midst here the medical profession. Someone, a very special person, who is our star mentor for today's program. From the medical profession, he's a medical professional, he's a medical person, and guess what? He has gotten an experience of a decades, that you can imagine. He has gotten an experience of over 35 years, like a 45 years experience that he has gotten in this profession, that he has been as a medical person. So he's here to talk to us today. He's here to teach us. He's here to counsel us. He's here to sail us through the ship of how, or the secret to become a medical professional. What are the paths that one has to, ride through if one should become a medical professional? Or what is the secret to become a professional medical person, and also to become a successful one, and also not only that, to be impactful, to add value in that profession. I know a lot of people out there are aspiring to be medical professionals. A lot of people out there have already chosen that path, and a lot of people are into it already, and they are aspiring to be successful in it, as our star mentor here today. So for today's mentorship, our star mentor for today is no less the person but Dr. Christian Tillotson Hartwell Bell. It's a household name. I know you must have heard of this name, Dr. Bell. Dr. Bell. Well, today he's here live with us on Redeemer Television here in our program Mentorship to share with us his experience, his wealth of experience that he has gathered over the years in the medical profession. Good evening, Dr. Bell, and welcome to Mentorship Hour.
Good evening. Thank you for having me.
All right. Well, viewers, that's the sound of, my wonderful guest here with me today. As I said earlier on, we are here to learn from his wealth of experience, that he has gathered in the medical profession over the years. 45 years of experience is not a 45 days of experience. It's not 10 years of experience. It's not a 20 years of experience. Okay? So I want you to fasten your seatbelts, stay glued to this channel as he sails us through the ship today. Because today he is our captain, of course, our star mentor. Okay? All right. I think, we're going to come over to you, Dr. Bell. And a lot of people may have heard about this name, Dr. Bell. I mean, the impact that you've created in society, from the medical field and, your other personal things that you do and all of that. But before we go deeper into that profession of yours, the medical profession, let's first know, who is this personality that we are talking to? Who is Dr. Bell? Tell us a little bit about your personality.
Well, thank you very much. I would simply say I am a German-trained gynecologist.
All right.
Who practiced medicine for many decades, and 45 plus years, and retired about 8 years ago.
Wow.
Retired, which means I just decided to hang up my stethoscope. Although I still had the energy, to practice.
To still administer.
But I decided, after 45 years of medical practice, at the age of 75, I decided to hang up my stethoscope, and I opted for something else that would keep me busy.
Wow, wow, wow. 45 years and more in the medical profession, and he got retired at the age of 75. Have you heard that? Yeah, so, we're really set to learn from this experience today. I mean, how did it all happen? How did it all started? I know you are also set to learn from how did it all happen. That got him to that 45 years of that experience that he has gotten in the medical profession. So we're going to go, over to that angle.
Yes.
Like, how, did it all started for you to become a medical person that you are? I mean, in a sense, like what motivated you? What inspires you? Was it something that you've had as a dream since you were coming up as a child or as a young man by then? Or you just thought you could just go into it?
No, I was motivated by circumstances around me at that time. And I was still at the grammar school.
All right.
And I had a few people around me who were not quite well, and were virtually constantly ill. And I thought to myself, I said, well, I think I could go abroad, study medicine, and come back and try to help these people. And you're surprised to know that one of these people I'm referring to was at that time, well, a very close acquaintance, I would say. In those days we used to say girlfriend, who is now my wife. She fell ill now and again, and then I said to myself, look, I'm going to study medicine and come back to teach you so that you always get well. That was one of the motivations, and also in the environment where I grew up, medical facility was very, very poor, and people were suffering, and I had that compassion, and I said, no, I have to help, so my main motive was to go to study medicine, to come back and help people. That was my motivation, yes.
All right. The compassion for humans, the compassion to see that people are being cured from their sicknesses, from their diseases, serves as one of your biggest motivation.
Yes.
And of course, what should I say, your friend then, who later became your wife,
yes,
also serve as, that kind of a motivation for you as well. I mean, like in the days of your schooling, like were you urged or were you ever inspired, at that stage,
yes,
going into the science stream or the arts or the commerce? Tell us a little bit about that.
Yes, I was in the science stream.
Okay.
And when I got this motivation, then I stayed in the science stream, concentrated in the science stream, science and maths. Those are my two favorite subjects at school. In fact, chemistry was my best subject.
Wow.
And maths also, I excelled in maths.
Okay.
In fact, we had a teacher in those days, Pareful, you know, and when I was in Form 3, Form 4 at the grammar school, you know, during the exams, I used to have 100%. I mean, I would answer all the questions
Wow.
in maths. And Pareful would say to me, "No, Ben, I won't give you 100%. I'll give 98%." You know, and there was also a gentleman, an Englishman called Pulling. He was teaching us chemistry, and I loved chemistry. And as I said, I was in there. That's in the science stream. We had teachers like Gaussius Williams, who taught us physics, you know, and they were all very good teachers. And we hardly went for private lessons. We had all the teachings, and we did well in our exams, you know.
Okay. All right, viewers, don't forget you're listening to or watching us live on Redeemer Television, and you're listening to the program Mentorship Hour, live on Redeemer Television channel 25 and on Redeemer Media Network Facebook page and on all the social media handles. Of course, you can also be a part of this program via the text message number 079-920500. 079-920500. You can join us via that text message number, or you can call if you wish, you know, to ask your questions to our guest here this evening, Dr. Christian Bell, who have had 45 years and more experience in the medical profession, and he is here today to counsel us and take us through the secrets, you know, of becoming a successful medical professional. We're now coming to that aspect, so he could actually, you know, start to give us those secrets and all of that. He has just told us that, of course, he was a science student then in school, and he was getting, you know, hundreds in, you know, when in exams and all of that. That actually got him to that stage of going to the Germany and study the medical course, and, you know, he became a medical professional, and today he's here. I believe he has, you know, rendered a lot to Sierra Leone as a country. So yes, Dr. Bell, now let's talk about, you know, for someone that's maybe out there now, that's, you know, would be intending or would have this aspiration to become a medical professional, a medical person, a doctor, or even be it a nurse, you know, could be a lady or so, or somebody that is already also into the field but want to be successful like you. But we are coming to that aspect. But first, let's talk about what does it take for one to become a medical professional? Like, what are the ingredients? What are the stages that you have to pass through?
Well, there are two aspects, I would say, two aspects. The first is that you must have that passion. That passion, it is a calling.
Okay.
Right? It is a calling, and that passion must be backed up by academic excellence. Right? Academic excellence is not enough. Right? You can be the most brilliant student, but you're not fit to become a doctor. Right? So first of all, I think it must be a calling. You must have that passion. And as I said, I had the compassion at that time. You know, compassion simply means, you know, you try to bring people out of their predicament, right? And if you have that passion, that compassion for people, right, and you have the academic excellence, then you're okay for the profession, because only the best can enter medical school.
Okay.
Right. But as I said, it's not enough. You know, academic excellence is not enough. You can be the best academically, but you're still not fit to be.
And because of the passion,
because of the passion, yes.
You know, maybe absent
from
you.
Your purpose of entering medical school, if you go in because of the prestige or to make money or this sort of thing, you are on the completely wrong track. Right, and apart from the compassion, the academic excellence, you must also have a good stamina. I would say physical stamina. Because
yes, help us to understand that aspect.
Yes, it takes a lot. You need to study a lot to become a doctor. It's not an easy task, right? And apart from the fact that it takes such a long time, right? It's not just a long time, but it takes a lot of energy, a lot of input, right? A lot of sacrifice, So if the purpose is just to go and make money, then you are in the wrong place. You see? So you need to have that passion, and then you would be able to invest your time and energy, right, into the profession,
and the compassion as well for people.
Oh yes. That is for me. That's the foundation. That's the foundation.
Compassion.
Yes.
For people.
Yes. All other things come in, but the compassion is for me very, 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 very important. And this is why a lot of people in the medical profession, not only doctors or even nurses, fail because they don't have that compassion. They go in for the money, and if money is your priority, forget it. Forget it. You see, so you need to have the energy also, because you need to study a lot. As I said, academic excellence is a prerequisite. Yeah, you must be able to study.
It's one of the goals that you need to
understand and produce. In German, for instance, we had a lot of oral examinations.
Wow.
Not just written, right? Oral. You have to go face the professors. Face them and explain. They will ask you questions, explain, and in the process they will observe your competence, right? And of course, now and again, when you enter the examination hall, you are nervous, but they would also examine your physique, whether you are strong enough to be a doctor. Because at times, later on in life, later on in the profession, you find out that you need a lot of energy. I mean, whether if you're a surgeon, I mean, it's a lot. It's hard work.
Mentioning about being a surgeon, that's drive me into, asking you to take us through, a bit about your experience in the profession. I mean, you've had 45 years and more, experience. I mean, years of experience in this medical profession.
Yes.
So, write us through your experience.
Well, before, of course, becoming a doctor, you need to go through the medical course, medical studies, right? And you go through the pre-med, right? And then you enter the medical classes, and then you do initially you do things like the sciences, chemistry, physics, biology, zoology,
like physiology,
and then you enter the medical course, where you start to do things like anatomy, physiology, right? And then, of course, it takes time. It takes time and energy. Time and energy. You have to spend sleepless nights studying. Because I mean, you study the entire human body, right? The entire human body. You have to know the anatomy, right, and the physiology, right, and of course the biochemistry as well. So I mean, it is not an easy task.
And this is the experience you've been through so far.
And but as time progresses, also depending on your lecturers, right, those ahead of you, the way they motivate you, after a while, you succeed in going through, depending on how much time and energy you are ready to invest. For me, initially, it was my intention to go to Britain, to England, because you know, I had a national scholarship at that time, you know, and I was supposed to go to England, you know, but unfortunately, the officer at the Ministry of Education at that time was very unfriendly. He did not send my applications on time. If I didn't send my applications out at all, right? So I was at the grammar school teaching chemistry, you know, for almost 2.5, 3 years, you know, and then one day I was called upon to report at the Ministry of Education, and by then the student secretary had gone on leave, and the gentleman who was there called me and said, "Look, if you are ready, within 4 weeks, you'll be going to Germany." I said, "To Germany?" I said, No. I said, I don't think I wouldn't like to go to Germany, you know. But then he said, unfortunately, all my papers were still there. Opened his desk and showed me all my papers. He said the previous student secretary did not forward my documents to England, you know. And that's how I decided. I said, okay, good. I decided to go to Germany. So after spending almost 3 years at the grammar school teaching chemistry, I had to spend another year learning the language in Germany before actually commencing the medical studies, you know.
All
but
right.
I was determined to study medicine, so I decided to invest all that time, you know.
So I mean, since you know, you became a medical, you know, practitioner or a medical person, doctor more or less, let's talk about, you know, what have been your worst moments in your time of practice. You know, like you got so much really probably fed about, you know, situations and all of that, or maybe you see certain situations, certain a case that was brought to your desk and you saw that and you say, wow.
Well, I would say, looking back, I would say that I had more successes than failures. Far more successes than failures.
All right.
You know, I don't know why, but maybe because of the training, you know, I had in Germany. You know, I went through apart from the medical course, I went through the specialist training in Germany, you know, and then came back, and I decided to go according to, you know, the way I was trained in Germany.
With the ethics, you know, of the profession.
Not only the ethics, but the method of, you know, of operating, method of handling patients and so on. You know, so I had more successes as well. Very few
limited
failures. No, very limited failures.
All right.
You know, and the successes I had, you know, first of all, when I came back, I worked with the Ministry of Health, right? With the Ministry of Health, I worked at the Connaught Hospital and then at the PCMH, you know, and I was posted to Bo. You know, it was very challenging. I mean, very challenging, because in Bo, I was the only gynecologist in Bo, virtually responsible for the entire southern province. You know, and it was more or less. I had a medical officer attached to me. You know, just so two of us, but he was just a medical officer assisting me, sort of. You know, but I had to do all operations, operations, all emergencies, day and night. I mean, it was really very challenging. And I thank God, because throughout my stay in Bo, I cannot think of any failure. I mean, the only problem I had which actually also led to my resignation later on. You know, when I came back, you know, people were talking about this fresh stillbirth. Fresh stillbirth.
Yeah.
You know, then I said, what do you mean fresh stillbirth? You know, because I was not aware of this expression whilst I was in Germany.
Yeah.
You know, fresh stillbirth. You know, then they said, of course, fresh stillbirth means, you know, a woman comes into the hospital, pregnant, right, and baby's alive in the womb, but during the process of delivery, you know, the baby dies. You know, and it is and the woman gives birth to a dead baby. That's stillbirth. That's what we call stillbirth.
Yeah.
Right. It's a fresh stillbirth. Then I said to them, I said, look, I say any woman that enters the hospital and that the baby is alive,
Yeah.
that woman has all right to have that baby alive.
Alive while giving birth.
Yes,
Or,
alive.
you know,
And
after
so
giving birth.
if that woman loses the baby, it means there is something wrong, you know, in the system, right? I mean, there's always the possibility to carry out a cesarean section if the baby is in danger, right? I mean, at whatever stage. I mean, if as a gynecologist, you know, if it's fully dilated, right? You can also always do a vacuum extraction or forceps to save the baby, right? You don't wait until the baby dies and they say fresh stillbirth, right? And if it's not yet fully dilated, then you go for a cesarean section, you know, and save the baby. So I was a bit baffled. I said, look, come, let's try and see how best we can reduce this
maternal mortality.
No, this fresh
stillbirth. That was
you know,
in the system already.
Yes, how can you reduce? So I taught them how to recognize what we in German call the dips. You know, because in Germany we had the cardiotopographs. You know, there's a machine which monitors the baby. If I brought one when I came back to Freetown, but there was nobody to repair it. So when it got spoiled, I had to throw it away. You know, I'm not sure whether there's anyone in Sierra Leone at the moment. The cardiotopograph, I'm not sure, right? So I taught them. I said, look, we have what you call the dip 1, dip 2, and so on, right? And I taught them how to recognize these dips, you know, and you only recognize these dips during the labor period, the contraction, when the woman has the contraction. But unfortunately, in our environment, our women are very emotional, very noisy during the time whenever they have the contraction, because it's very painful. So they shout, you know, and move and turn around, and so it's very difficult for the nurses to monitor the baby at that time. You know, so I told them, I said, look, you know what, you can still get these women to be silent, you know, so that, tell them why, you know, you want to save their babies, you know. So we taught them, and then they implemented it, and it worked. Wow. And whilst I was there, this fresh stillbirth rate, it reduced significantly, you know, and they were very, 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 very thankful, very thankful. You see, these are some of the challenges, you know, I had when I came back, you know. But after a while, I decided to go into private practice. I resigned from the government, and I went into private practice, and I succeeded in building a hospital, and then I had the opportunity to teach these nurses in the hospital.
Nurses.
And we hardly had this fresh stillbirth in the hospital, because they knew how to go about it, and when it was necessary, we did cesarean section, right? Or we did the vacuum extraction, you know, because I had even without electricity, I had a vacuum extraction which we used like we created a vacuum using a pump, like the bicycle pump.
Yeah.
Instead of pumping the air in, it was sucking the air out. Wow. You know, and the bell will get fixed onto the head of the baby, and then we can pull out the baby. You know.
Wow.
You know. So I mean, it was challenging, but we significantly reduced that fresh stillbirth rate.
You know, in Talia, while we're talking, you mentioned about this aspect of passion and for the career or for the profession, and of course the compassion as well for the people that you are administering to, and of course you know, you've been motivated to go into that path. This aspect of, you know, money before treatment, it's something that is normal in our society, where they will bring maybe a sick person and the doctors or maybe that hospital will say, except you give them money before we can treat this person, even if the person is, you know, that kind of a worse situation or condition. So how, you know, do you normally handle that when you were in active service? And how should doctors that are in service now, or nurses, you know, or hospitals handle that aspect?
This is a very very good question, and a very difficult question to answer, because it depends on the individual. It depends on the doctor. But please don't forget that doctors must also survive somehow financially, right? It is a profession. We say, yeah, we have passion, we have compassion for the patients. You need to bring the patients out of their predicament, but at the same time, the doctor has a family. Doctor has to survive, has to pay school fees and all the rest. You know, you see. So I found out that people, you know, health is not a priority for most of our people. They rather pay money to other professionals, but not to the doctor, right? They'll pay money to the lawyer, right? He said, say, if you don't pay me this, I won't go to court. You know, they'll pay to the lawyer. But when they come to the doctor, they come to the doctor empty-handed, right? I mean, it's not fair, really. It's not fair. But for me, really, money was not a priority. The priority was to get the patients out of their predicament. And so we had consultations, right? They paid their fees. Those who couldn't afford to pay, you know, at that time,
yeah, right?
We said, okay, good, you can pay later or pay a certain percentage, but they have to pay. I mean, you cannot. There's nothing free.
No, sure.
Right, and fortunately we were able to cope. You know, we were able to cope. In fact, when I built the hospital, I had a section for poor people. You know, there are three levels, right? I had the ground floor. We had about like a dormitory, right? About 8 beds, right? One room for female and the other room for male. The next floor had 2 beds in a room, and the third floor I had 2 beds in a room and single rooms, right? And I had I practiced what I called a cross subsidization, right? Those who were up there, you know, paid for the less privileged, because some people even came who could not afford it, right? But I treated them. You know, they had the same treatment, and this is very important, right? It's not because you cannot afford, therefore you have a substandard treatment. No, they had the same treatment, same medication. The only difference was the environment where they were. You had 8 of them in the room, and you had 1 person in a single room or double room.
Yeah, the person that actually pays.
Yes.
All of that.
You see, so those up there were paying for those who down there, and some of them really came and they couldn't afford it, and we treated them. And fortunately for me, I had some friends in Germany. You know, I had very good relationship with my friends and hospitals in Germany, and so now and again, I got materials, from them, sutures and gauze and all these things. So I didn't have to buy these things, and so I could afford to treat the poor as well, As I said, some of them free, some of them free, and that's the importance of the profession, that you treat all.
And
all
equally
same,
as well, as
same,
you mentioned, the quality of the service all.
You get you do the best the best possible for the patient,
So simply put, what you're teaching us this evening is that you actually need the money as a doctor, or as the medical person that you are, or the hospital that you are, but you should not prioritize the money over the life, where cases, situations arise where the person is almost losing his or her life.
Of course, you can never equate life to money. I mean, at times we treated patients in emergencies, for instance.
Those emergency cases.
Several cases came in with ectopic pregnancies, and in such cases, I mean, you don't talk about money. you look at the life of the patient, and you need to take the patient immediately to the theater. The moment you diagnose ectopic pregnancy, the next thing you do is to take the patient to the theater. You don't wait until the patient pays. No, you just and it happened many times. And such operations are life-saving. They're life-saving, and
not only the baby, but even the mother.
In ectopic pregnancy, it's the life of the mother. It's the life of the mother, since it's at risk. And so because they're bleeding internally. So you have to go in, and at times I don't even wait to get extra blood from outside. I just set up the drip. You go in, because the important thing is to stop the bleeding. So we go in, stop the bleeding, and then you can give blood later, So in such cases, you don't ask for money. But at times, when the patient, or even the relatives of the patient, when they see the type of treatment you've given to the patient, and later on you give them your bill, they pay willingly. You see, so I mean, yes, we need money, especially for me at that time. I needed money to pay my debt, because when I was billing the hospital, I started with my own funds, but I ran out of money, so I had to go to the bank. At that time, it was the National Development Bank. I had to go to the bank for a loan, but unfortunately, they did not give me all the money I needed at the time. So they gave me, in the first year, they gave me a part of it, even less than 50% of what I needed, and at 20% interest rate, right, with a year moratorium. But after a year, I couldn't raise enough money to complete the hospital, so I had to go back to the hospital, to the bank, and I said, look, I've not been able to raise this money, so can you help me? They said, oh yes, we can help you, let's go and assess. They went and did the assessment, and they said, okay, well, now we can give you the rest from last year. I said, well, it's not the same value, right? And then they said, but interest has gone up. I said, how much? 40%.
Wow.
Yes, after a year, 40% interest. But still, they didn't give me all the money I needed, So after another year, I went back to the bank. I said, look, I'm now in a dilemma. Please, can you help me? I would like to finish this place and then start to work. And they said, yes, okay, let's go and do an assessment. So they came to the hospital, did an assessment, and they said, okay, I needed so much. This time they would give me all of it. I insisted. I said, this time, please, I need all of it, not part of it. And then they said, okay, we'll give you the rest, but interest rate has gone up again. I said, what? I said, how much? 55%.
Wow.
So you wouldn't believe it. I I had 3 sets of loans.
Mm.
The first I paid 40%, 20%. The second I paid 40%, and the third I paid 55%. And it's a miracle that I was able to pay off that loan. But you see, so we needed money to pay that debt and to pay staff. You know, but at the same time, we were able to manage.
All right. Okay. You know, there's another technical area. You know, that's always tend to baffles a whole lot of people. That's even, you know, comes with the aspect of losing credibility and trust in, you know, some medical professionals and all of that. But we'll talk about that. We want to go for a quick break. Viewers, don't forget the program is Mentorship Hour, coming up to you live on Redeemer Television Channel 25 and on Redeemer Media Network Facebook page. You can join us live on that platform there. Of course, today we're having our star mentor. He is Dr. Christian Tillotson Hatswell Bell. You know, he has gotten 45-year and more experience in the medical profession, and he's here today to ride us through, you know, what it takes to become a medical professional and how can one, you know, maintain relevance in that profession. Continue to stay with us. I am still your host, Honest Abdullah. We want to go for a break, and when we come back, we'll continue with the rest of the program.
You are one of a kind, man on a mission. You are so divine, drenched in the vision. You're a hero, a soldier with so much credentials. Oh, you are royalty. You are one in a billion, mighty man of valor. You're so full of fire and so full of love. Just like Jesus, that's the way you are. You are royalty. We're celebrating a legendary father, celebrating a man sent from God. Oh, no doubt about it, you are God's son general. You're an inspiration, teacher to the nations. We're celebrating a legendary father, celebrating a man sent from God. No doubt about it, you are God's son general. You're an inspiration, teacher to the nation.
All right, viewers, welcome back from that break. The program is still Mentorship Hour, live here on Redeemer Television Channel 25 and on Redeemer Media Network Facebook page. I hope you're having a wonderful time this evening. We're still having with us Dr. Christian Bell, who has gotten 45 years and more experience in the medical profession, and he is here today to share with us his experience, teach us, counsel us, motivate us, especially for you out there who is aspiring or are aspiring to go into the medical profession, or you are into the profession already but you want to, you know, make your own mark in that profession. He has been there, and he, you know, has gotten to that point of even owning his own hospital. You know, he first started working for government, and later he had to go into the private sector and all of that. So we in no meantime wrap up this program. So quickly we'll just come over to you again, Dr. Bell, you know, to talk about this aspect of how do or how should medical practitioners, be it nurses, be it doctors, handle the issue of, you know, managing drugs in the hospital. Because many a time, you know, people have got this perception about, you know, medical people, doctors or nurses, of, you know, especially when you're working in the government hospitals or government assisted hospitals, selling medicines and all of that, and at the time the patient will be in the need of the medicines, they will not be available anymore, or the doctors or the nurses would rather take the medicine and go sell them or store them in their own private, we could say, clinics or maybe pharmacies and all of that. So how should that be handled as somebody that has gotten the experience so far?
Well, I think we should educate these doctors or nurses in medical ethics.
Okay.
Because in medical ethics, we need to get the best for the patient, beneficence. We need to try and get the best for the patients, whether it's a type of treatment, provision of the drugs, or the type of diagnostic procedures, right? But we need to focus on the patient and try to get the best for the patient. That is what I mean in medical ethics. It's one of the pillars in medical ethics, called beneficence. A lot of people are not aware of this. That we should get the best for the patient. And some are aware, but because of their financial status, because they are so much focused on what they earn for the day, they try to be involved. They are involved in such malpractices. I mean, that is totally against medical ethics. So I think that we need to educate them, right, on such on medical ethics, and also coming back to the word compassion, right? We need to teach them compassionate care.
All right.
Compassionate care, and because in teaching them compassionate care, they would not only focus on what they themselves would earn, but they will focus on the patient's condition, the patient's welfare, right? The patient's welfare. So, in fact, sometime recently, I'm involved in this healthcare Christian fellowship.
All right.
And we have embarked on the teaching of compassionate care. And people, because we got somebody came to us and said that there's a certain hospital, government hospital in Freetown, that people just don't care about the patients, the welfare of the patients. They think so much about themselves, and then they sell the drugs, that are there for the patients, and the way they even talk
to the patient,
the communication between patient
and that aspect has been a very huge problem.
So it's a big problem. So we have embarked on this compassionate care, and that is taking care of the whole holistic care.
All right.
Right, and that's where this selling of drugs also comes in.
Okay. In no meantime, we'll be wrapping up the program. Let's go through some text here. Don't forget, the program is still Mentorship Hour, coming up to you live on Redeemer Television Channel 25 and Redeemer Media Network Facebook page. The first one is saying, how should I maintain relevance in the medical profession? Should I am a medical practitioner? And another is saying, what makes me value, or what are the steps if I should be impactful in the medical profession? What are the steps that I should, that I need to take to actually be an impactful medical practitioner? Another one is saying, I have the passion to become a medical person, but I am afraid of seeing people being operated on, especially playing with scissors and other stuff. So what's your advice for me? All right. And another one is saying, I don't like seeing wounds, but I love the profession. What's your take? All right.
Well,
So yes, quickly before we
the
wrap
first
up,
question. What was the first question?
was saying the person was saying he has the passion to go into the profession. He was talking about, what's
Okay, what
the
it
things,
takes,
the value,
what it takes
to maintain value,
what it
relevance
takes.
in the profession.
Well, I would suggest that such a person should go through the medical ethics. Go through the 4 pillars of the medical ethics, and you would actually come to the conclusion that yes, it will guide you. The 4 pillars of the medical ethics will guide you as to how you should carry on in your practice, and also think about compassionate care. It is very, very important, right? Compassionate care. And if you want to know more about this, you can contact us at the Healthcare Christian Fellowship.
All right.
Because we teach compassionate care, right?
Okay. This one quickly said, how should I maintain value or be impactful in the profession to add value, in the profession?
Yes, I would also refer this person to the 4 pillars of medical ethics.
All right.
The patient, your relationship with the patient is very important. The patient has the autonomy. The patient has to decide, what you have to advise the patient, but the patient has to decide. It's the decision of the patient. What's important, very important, is that you as a medical doctor should crave for the best for the patient, the beneficent. So that is also part of the medical ethics, right? And there is something which is also very important in medical ethics, and that is you do no harm. Do the patients no harm.
All right.
It's very, 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 very important that whatever you do must be to the benefit of the patient. You do the patient no harm. There's a Latin expression, primum non nocere, right? First, do no harm, right? So if you have that always in mind, that patient in front of you, I should have the best for the patient. I should educate the patient as what's going to be done. The patient has to give his or her consent, right? The patient has to decide, right? And you have to do the best for that patient. And believe me, you will go through your profession successfully. You should also think about, talking about medical ethics, you also think about justice, right? That's fair play. The patient should have fair play and all the So right. I mean,
so finally, how do one maintain confidentiality in the medical profession, especially where a patient will come and confide in you, to say, I have this disease. Maybe the patient could be an HIV patient or any other terminal disease and all of that. So the aspect of confidentiality as a way of wrapping up.
Confidentiality is also part of medical ethics. I mean, it's one of the 3 C's in medical ethics. You have the 3 C's, right? You have the consent, capacity, and confidentiality. And it's you as a medical practitioner, you have an oath that you don't expose the whatever the patient is telling you. The patient, you must develop trust between you and the patient, and then the patient should be convinced that whatever that patient says will not go out of the 4 walls. So that is it, and it is the duty of the doctor to create that relationship with the patient.
All right, so as we're wrapping up, what would be your advice or your word of encouragement, your word of motivation to those young doctors or nurses out there, but also those who are aspiring to go into the medical profession, be it to be a nurse or to be a doctor?
Well, as I said earlier, you must have the passion, compassion, and then money should not be your priority. Focus on the needs of the patient. And talking about the needs of the patient, it's not just the perceived needs, but the real needs of the patient. Not just the pain, but what is causing the pain, right? And I would advise all medical practitioners and young people, young doctors, and even medical students, right, to check the four pillars of in medical ethics, the four pillars in medical ethics, and the 3 C's.
All right.
Check those, and you will be a successful physician.
All right. Thank you so very much, our honorable esteemed guest for today's Mentorship Hour. He has been our star mentor for today's Mentorship Hour, and he is Dr. Christian Tillotson Hartswell Bell, and he has been here with us this evening to actually sail us through the ship of what it takes to become a successful medical practitioner, with his 45 years and more experience that he has gotten in the medical profession. Well, viewers, this is how we bring you the end of today's mentorship show. But you wanted to say something quickly.
Yes, I would just like to mention that I really enjoyed medical practice,
Right.
and it was very challenging, and I'm happy also to say that 3 of my children are doctors.
Wow.
3 of them, the 2 are still in Germany. The one is an orthopedic surgeon and trauma specialist, and the other one is a gynecologist, and the third is a pediatrician, Dr. Nelly Bell. She's in Freetown, and she's at the Olajuwon and Comas.
All right. Wow. So you see, so this is a continuation of profession. The traits and the how do you call the chemistry continues from father to children and all of that.
Yes,
Thank you.
And I must also mention
much.
that we are able to achieve all of this because of the support I got from my wife, because she was always with me, even during the construction of the hospital, and even the maintenance and the running of the hospital. Well, she was in charge of the administration and finance, whilst I was concentrating on the medical.
All right.
So it's a rich family. It's a medical family, I would say.
All right. Thank you so much. It was a pleasure having you here this evening.
This girlfriend that was ill now and again, that motivated me to study medicine, who is now my wife. Now she has 4 doctors around her.
All right. That's how we bring you the end of today's Mentorship Hour program. It was a pleasure having you here in our midst, Dr. Bell, being our star mentor for today's Mentorship Hour. Thank you very much once again for honoring our invitation to come and share your experience with us. Come and teach, counsel, and motivate youngers out there who are aspiring to become medical practitioners.
Thank you very much for having me.
All right. And so listeners, this is how we definitely we hate to go, but we have to go. We say goodbye. It has been Mentorship Hour on Redeemer Television, channel 25.
Source for Christian teachings, worship, and inspiration.